so let's start by what's your name?
Martha.
Cool. And I'm Eric.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so we'll start off with like how this area was like when you were growing up. Yeah.
When I was younger, of course, it was less congestive. There's a lot of development that's happened over the years, housing development, more than stores and shops. A lot of it, as I recall, is the same like downtown area. But what's changed the most is probably housing developments, neighborhoods, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like some other people were saying, like tearing down the ranch-style homes and adding in like the McMansions.
Yeah. So I mean, that's clearly Massachusetts. It's not just Needham.
Yeah.
You're right, and the cost of housing is just out of control. But you're right, and it's not like we're having larger families. We're not.
Yeah. Right.
The family probably are actually smaller than they were when I was younger growing up because, like you said, a small Cape house. I knew neighbors that had a family of 5 and lived in a small Cape house. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that and then of course as we just spoke about was it Calvert's downtown? Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that was going to be demolished. I was just driving through last week and I said, oh my goodness, it's gone. And I remember when I was a child, like my mother would take us there to get certain items of clothing and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure even before when I can remember, those factories, there's no factories. We're not making, as America, we're not making anything. So, Needham, I think Needham's got some history of factories.
I think so, yeah. Like the one I just got demolished, like it looked like an old factory.
Yeah, but I think there was other, like shoe factories, that kind of stuff. I grew up in Natick. I do know this area very well. I live in Newton. But Natick had a history of shoe factories as well, so.
Yeah. All right. So would you say that there's been like a decrease in family-owned businesses?
Oh, of course. Especially like restaurants. I think COVID played a part in a lot of closure of restaurants all around, but there's a big difference in family-owned businesses. I know downtown Needham was Wells Shoes, and I actually knew the Wells family because they were from Natick, but that's an example. I think there's a few boutiques that are owned, small business owned. Restaurants are homogenized, they're nothing spectacular. I don't see anything that stands out to me as the restaurant I have to race to Needham to eat at.
I agree. Yeah. And so you mentioned like public transportation. So
that's a big thing. Okay, so I'm okay with public transportation. I think public transportation is something that we see nowadays as poor people do. Like it should be used by all of us. Yeah. But now you have Ubers, and you have well-to-do families that have extra cars, or the kids get a car, but I don't mind using public transportation. I think it's a shame that we're not using it.
Yeah, I mean, in some cases it's just more efficient. Like it's
of
faster.
Course. It's affordable. It's faster. The price of car insurance, that's actually more expensive than it is to own the car.
Yeah.
To run the car. Car insurance is crazy. Public transportation is great. Actually, even here, because we have the commuter rail, but we also have the bus that runs from Needham down near McDonald's, goes all the way to Watertown, the bus 59. I'll take that a lot.
I see the city bus making stops all around Needham.
Yeah, and I think the senior fare is like $1.30 or something like that. But I'll get on it, and you'll see like 3 people. Goodness, we have it as an option. It's just that it makes me sad to see like not many people utilize public transportation.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's move on to I guess the type of person that lived in Needham, like.
How did I envision?
Yeah,
like back when I was younger.
No, like the type of person that would move here now, like the families are they different than before? Like,
of
is
course.
It like, yeah.
Just to even live in the general 128 belt, you've got to have an enormous amount of money. You know, the middle class. There is no middle class. You know, I grew up middle class. The affordability is just not even an option. So if you're looking at, like we said, how many Cape houses are there left? None. But if there was one, you're looking at almost $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's not worth $1 million. That's how I look at it. It's like, that's not worth $1 million, but that's just the status quo for where we live. You could go to Ohio or you could go to Tennessee and buy this equivalent for $125,000 or $200,000.
Yeah, like I think Texas is like really cheap as well. Like
cheap. I don't want to live in Texas. No, there's so many pluses about living where we live. You know, you've got the medical, you've got the universities. You know, even though nobody takes the public transportation, we have it. You know, it's available. The education, school systems.
Yeah, it's pretty heavily emphasized.
Yeah,
here.
But people are paying for that. You know, and if you don't have the money, then you kind of struggle. You're definitely struggling.
Yeah. So do you think that the rising like property taxes, if the houses are higher, is that a good thing for schooling systems as well? So like there's kind of like the other side to it.
That's a whole nother ball of wax, because I'm somebody that
like can they justify?
I have issues sometimes with the school systems. You know, I'm not a big believer that if you live in a wealthy community, then your school's going to be the best.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more of an equality around, you know, however way they do it. And then I'm not a big believer in unions for the teachers either, because that makes teachers too powerful. And I was a teacher, so it's not, you know.
Yeah. Wait, where did you teach?
I taught in preschool, which you don't get the benefits of being in a union. But I also went to school. And my kids went to school, and you know, you encounter some teachers that just
I think
are inadequate, or they're crappy teachers, and the union protects good and bad. You know, pay a good teacher what they're worth. Forget the union. Pay them a good chunk of money.
Yeah, we saw what happened when Newton.
I was going to say, I lived in Newton. That was 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 years ago. I think
2 weeks. Our kids didn't go to school.
Yeah, they ended school. I think like the latest possible legal date.
Yeah,
it was like end of June.
Right. It probably was. Yeah, it made like national news. They got what they wanted. Some of the things they fought for, absolutely. But once again, you know, you're in the union, you're going to get all this. It was like a 12% or something like that. I don't know exactly, but the average teacher in Newton's making probably in the 90 to 100,000. That's not saying that some of them aren't worthy of that. They are.
Yeah.
But there's some that shouldn't be making that at all. So that's the whole, like, you know, gray area about unions. Unions were set up to protect the people who work down at the factory. You know what I mean? Like that was a whole.
Yeah, like that makes sense.
Right. So it wasn't a sweatshop.
Yeah. I think it was, Knights of Federation or something. That was like the very first.
Right. So it's like
but
the labor laws and unions and and once again we go back to what are we creating in Massachusetts? I mean, I also knew years ago growing up we had a General Motors factory in Framingham, and people could go and earn a good living. You know, that was a union too. But. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So yeah, I see the change. I see a huge change just in this whole area.
Okay, all right.
And I'm not saying it's great.
Yeah.
Don't misinterpret. I've seen the change with, oh, what a great change.
All right, yeah. Okay, so was there like any major like annual events or like traditions that you were looking forward to, but now like don't really exist anymore?
I don't know. I think they still. I mean, some of these little towns, they still have a little parade for July 4th and the
Yeah.
fireworks. Fireworks, who would have thought they'd cost so much money? I mean, that's another thing, too. It's going to be in the budget, the town budget, to get fireworks. Traditions, that's the kind of stuff I remember growing up, would be something simple like that. Or the town beach, or,
Okay.
That's really it, yeah.
All right, yeah, okay. Because I've seen like there's a lot more like more people are like staying inside, especially after COVID, and
Well, more people-
like all kids are like not as of like going outside as much as
Yeah.
they used to. So that probably plays a role in like the town.
It probably does. I think children aren't engaging in like the free play. I saw that when I taught preschool. I see that even with my own grandkids. The more formalized sports or club sports, the club sports is overdone. That's another piece of like, come on, your kid's not going to make Division One.
Yeah.
That's just like, you want to throw your couple $1,000 or more than that away a year, go right ahead. But I didn't want anything to do with that.
So like just school sports.
School sports are great.
Yeah.
That's a whole yeah.
Yeah.
Children aren't playing like they used to. You're right. People aren't engaging with each other like they used to. Like when I was younger, you'd have people over more. You get together, like you do like a potluck, or you
like
go
a block
hang
party,
out.
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even after work, people used to go out. I don't think younger people are doing that. I haven't seen
Yeah.
it. It's not happening. So the whole socializing is just at a minimum.
Yeah.
And even then, it's go home. It's like Groundhog Day, probably. I mean, some of my life is Groundhog Day too, but I try to switch it up. I try to look forward to something,
Yeah.
at least 4 times a year. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So the community has been like less tight knit, you'd say, because of
Oh,
that?
yeah. As far as like people knowing who their neighbors are
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are days of the past.
Okay.
I think if there was some kind of urgency or some kind of, house is on fire or something like that, I'm sure people would come out and help.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as they kind of know what's going on with their neighbor, or back in the day, somebody died in the family, there'd be food brought over to their house.
Yeah, and I don't.
When I was younger teaching, somebody had a baby, we'd all chip in and buy turkey dinners or stuff like that. So there's probably a lot less of that. People like I said, don't really know their neighbors as much.
Yeah, I mean, when I moved in, we had like a Tunisian, or like when our neighbors moved, they had hosted a block party, but ever since then we haven't really spoken to them or anyone else.
Yeah.
Really.
So I don't know. Everyone claims to be so busy. Everyone's so busy.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, what they're busy doing.
I guess we'll never know.
Oh.
Okay. What would you say would be like the most influential like person or people in your life like that gave you some advice that you would care to share?
I think my mother had a huge impact on what I chose for a profession, and when I think back when I was younger, I'm not sure if I would have gone that way. Like when I was a teenager, she had me sign up for CIT at a camp for special ed kids. I was a candy striper at a state hospital. I don't know why she thought a state hospital would be
What's a candy striper?
a therapeutic place for a teenager. A candy striper is, they go into the hospitals and they like help out. So I don't know, like go around with like books to hand out to patients.
Yeah.
But this was a state hospital for seniors. This was like people with dementia or people with mental illness.
Oh,
this
so
was like
McLean.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
McLean's is
Okay.
McLean's is run by Mass General in Harvard. No, this is like poor people went there.
Oh, okay.
Like poor people went there to die, basically.
Yeah.
It was an institution.
Okay.
So what she chose, or the site she chose for me to go, was Cushing Hospital in Framingham. But anyways, I don't know. It toughened me up. I enjoyed what I did, and then as time went on, like I followed that career. I worked with the homeless. I worked in the prison system. I worked in Head Start, which is for very low income families. I did the preschool there, and I worked with the families. So that's been my life, is like working with people who live on the margins of life. And I can't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know whether that was intentional, that she had her hands into, well, let's see what Martha would like to do to volunteer.
Right.
But when you think about it, if you're volunteering as a teenager, and even so you know yourself, you do head towards the, that type of vocation, people who are in need.
Yeah.
And there are some people who's like never, or they're like, yeah, I like this. I feel good about what I'm doing. So I would say she was.
Do you know, what did she do for a living?
She is deceased. I lost my mother when I was 16. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
She had cancer. So she was college educated, but she was an at-home mom. So she ended up, she was with us.
Yeah.
I'm a different person because of that, because I think if my mother was alive, I would have been. My grandsons are both orphans. I lost my daughter, my one and only daughter. So I'm raising my grandsons. So I feel the love for you. I know how hard it is. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And it does. Like, she probably would have had a lot more to say about my profession or who I married or all that stuff, But even then, we're influenced by our parents, but we don't necessarily always follow what their wishes are too.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Who would have known?
So you said listening to your parents would probably be your number one thing.
Oh yeah, my mother was so strict.
Okay.
But I'm glad she was. Like, the strictness that I was brought up with and the properness was only good education for me as an adult later on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as I probably resented it and hated it at the time, I look back and say, wow, she was good. She laid the law down, and she taught me, how I need to behave, and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. I think that's pretty much covered everything.
Good.
Yeah,
I was glad to help.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm happy for you for doing this. I'm happy that you have an interest in doing this.
Yeah.
And I wish you the best.
All right. Well.
Oh, the other thing I want to say.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I think of it as, okay, how old are you?
17.
17, okay. So when you become 20, this is how I look at life, because I'm in my 60s. From 20 to 40 is a lifetime. It's multiple lifetimes. You're going to do so much from 20 to 40.
Yeah.
From 40 to 60 goes by very fast. I'm terrified because I'm 66. Because I think from 60 to 80 is going to go by even faster. It does. It's wow. Now I'm closer to 70 than I was.
Yeah.
It's 80's going to be here, and that's why I have to, do things for myself more now, and I'll still work. I'll work until somebody says you need to go home.
Yeah, our grandma, she's 76, and
she still works.
Yeah, she still works at McLean Hospital.
Good. Oh my gosh, I would get along very well with her. So that's the time. Yeah. Yes, I also worked at a residential school for emotionally disturbed children for 10 years. I worked at that. That was another job. So it's like, that's the suit I followed as far as the career path, to help others. Anywho, so that's that.
Okay.
It was nice to do this.
Okay, well, yeah, it was nice to speak to you.
Take care.
All right.